I've been sitting back, watching, listening, thinking about some things about Colorado, and I just wanted to make a video and give some information that I've been thinking about and things that I'm actually hoping will happen. And so, if Colorado is going to make a leap this year, there's going to have to be some things that happen. That's just how it works. That's how college football works. Quite frankly, that's just how sports work, right? Year over year, you have to make improvements and you have to make adjustments and you have to get better than you were before. And not only do you have to get better, you have to get better than your competition has gotten better. And so I was just thinking, I don't know why. I woke up this morning and I thought, you know what? I have some sleepers for this season and I have some things that I want to say. Some of the things that I'm going to say will not be popular with the fan base. And you know what? That is okay. But that doesn't mean that I am not going to say what I want to say because I think it needs to be said. So what I decided to do is before the spring game and before spring ball starts, I wanted to list some things some people that I am going to be paying attention to or kind of seeing how they evolve. Now, I am on record of saying I don't indulge in a lot of the videos that are happening. I don't follow any of the players. There's a lot of aspects of this where I am almost blind in the sense that I don't know all the details, the ins and outs, and who's doing what, who's with who, and all those things. But I do have an opinion based on how I hope this team improves over the next year. And so I just wanted to share it. So love me or hate me, these are my thoughts. One of the things I was going to break down or talk about is, the group that I think is going to be the most improved and who do I think is really going to shine here and who I think is going to be better. And I'm still going to do that. But I think the obvious answer here would be the offensive line. I think if the offensive line just doesn't improve at all, then Colorado they don't stand a chance. It's going to be the same results they had last year. So I'm not even going to talk about that. I am just going to assume that we all agree that offensive line is the position that they have to improve on. And I'm not even going to spend my time on talking about that. However, here's what I'm going to say. Although I think they're a little thin there, and I think they're going to make an impact and get some guys in after the spring thing. I'm already smiling because I know what I'm going to say. I think that the CU linebackers might have the potential to improve the most. Here's the thing. Now, before everybody panics, I realize that that's Coach Hart's group and everybody has thoughts about Coach Hart, and that's fine. He's earned that. However, they weren't that great last year, and there were a lot of things that were missing as far as it seemed like they weren't aware of the personnel groups. It seemed like Coach Hart didn't have them ready to go, and that group was a group that just didn't perform well last year, in my personal opinion. And so I think this year, I think Coach Hart knows that. I think he knows that, and I think he's heard the noise, and I think he is going to put in extra time to make sure that his group is not the worst group on the team. And I expect to see that linebacker group improve. I still think that they could benefit from having one or two more inside linebackers. I won't move off on that until I see that I'm wrong. Somebody has said to me in the comments on another video that I made, if I'm fancy, I might put the video up here. I don't know. In another video that I made, that even Coach Prime mentioned that he wanted to get another linebacker or two. So I'm going to stick to that. I think they do need another one or two inside linebacker. However, I actually think Coach Hart has the most to improve on, and I actually think that he can. I think that for me, whenever I see something that I could have done better at and it's glaring at me and it means I could have put in more effort, I could have studied more, I could have evaluated talent differently, I could have gotten talent ready better than I did before, it almost lights a fire in you to do better and to be better. And everybody knows that I'm one of Coach Prime's friends. So why would I not come into this season and try to be better? So my sleeper position group that is going to be improved, that is going to be better, I think is going to be the linebackers. That's just my personal opinion. Now, I obviously watch football enough to know that sometimes other positions can make up for a weak group. Like you could have a great defensive line or, whatever, that can make up for your linebacker group. But I think this year, I am hoping, at least going into spring ball, this is what I'm thinking, I am hoping that that linebacker group is the most improved group. Oh, offensive line for, like, again, not going to say that, but I really hope this linebacker group is ready to go. And I really hope Coach Hart rises to the occasion, because that's what this is. It's go time. It's time for you to show up. It's time for you to put up or shut up. That's just where we're at. And so that's my first, like, whatever, wild take. There's going to be more. Just keep watching. So my second thing is I wanted to talk about the 3 players that I am going to really watch for and to see if they improve through spring ball, through the spring game, and then to make sure they stay with CU after the portal opens. And my first one's going to be Jimmy Horn. I have been on record on other shows talking trash about Jimmy Horn intentionally in hopes that somewhere he sees it, somewhere he picks it up, and somewhere he uses my negativity as motivation to make himself better. I think Jimmy Horn has all the intangibles. He has all the skills. He's working. He has all the things. He just has to catch the ball. And if you go back and watch the games where he dropped passes, I can almost remember every dropped pass that he had, because every drop pass I feel like was to get a first down or to move the chains or to keep the team on the field, and he dropped it. And so I think this is the year that Jimmy Horn gets better. Also, they have tried to recruit somebody to come in and take Jimmy Horn's position. And if recruiting somebody and you seeing somebody comes in that is supposed to take your job, if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. And so I'm just going to assume that what is happening with Jimmy Horn, the player coming in to replace him hearing it all offseason about the drop passes and things like that, I am just going to hope and assume that that is going to motivate Jimmy Horn. And so during the spring and during the spring game, and right now we're going to start seeing the evolution of Jimmy Horn, and he is going to show up and he is going to show out. And that is just my hope and my opinion. I think the second person that I'm going to add to my kind of player to watch, like player that I think is going to be the most improved, is Cameron Silliman-Craig. Like, one thing about Cameron is he's not scared. He's not scared to play. He's going to go out there. He's going to make plays. He finds the ball. I think that people like to be around him. He seems like a guy that is going to study, that's going to show up, that's going to work hard, is just going to do his job and is going to be solid. He might not have all the intangibles that you want to see. You might not say like he's the hardest hitter or he's the fastest guy or he's the most talkative or he's the most this, that, and the third. I won't argue that. But I think that from what I've seen watching football, sometimes in football, you just need those sound players. You just need those players that you can trust. You need those players that you know will be there. And you need those players that are just going to be consistent and they're going to show you what they have. And I like that Cameron it seems calm and seems really, cerebral is the word. And I like that about him. And I think that brings a different dynamic to a football team. And I think you need that. He also is not afraid to go in there and make a hit. He's also not afraid to go in there and make a play. He just finds the ball. Now, some of you might be listening to this and be like, yeah, but he doesn't wrap up. He doesn't do this. Do we really want to talk about all the people on defense last year for CU that didn't wrap up? Because a lot of them did not wrap up. And I think that Cameron will find a way to get on the field. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing his development and seeing his growth, because he just strikes me as somebody that like works hard and loves playing football. And if you love playing football and you work hard, chances are you're going to do what it takes to be on the field. That's just how I feel. And that's something that I'm going to be looking out for. My third one is also going to be a little controversial, but the more I think about this team and the more I think about what we're doing and the more I think about our needs, I think it's going to be Wilkerson. I think Wilkerson understands as a running back what it feels like to be on seventh string, what it feels like to come in late, what it feels like to be judged and doubted and maybe not and this and that. And I look forward to seeing him this spring. I look forward to seeing him earn his reps, because the thing about Wilkerson is if you see Wilkerson out on the field, you will know that Wilkerson earned his spot on the field. And any man that takes pride in going in there and earning his spot and knowing that this is it's his responsibility to really go out there and earn it, I like him in that role. He's been in that role, and I think he can do that role. And I think if you look back at him historically, he can do it. And I think that if they're going, again, assuming Colorado runs the ball more, all those things, right? Because if Colorado still doesn't run the ball more, it's going to be hard. But I think that we have Alton McCaskill, who's coming off of a very severe knee injury. He hasn't played for a year. It might take him a minute to almost get warmed back up and to get ready to go. And then you have Dylan Edwards, which is great, but we all know Dylan has limitations. That's no fault of his own. It's not saying he's bad or anything like that. He just has limitations. And I think Wilkerson, I just don't see Wilkerson getting beat out by a freshman. He might. I'm not saying he's not going to, not saying that freshman's not dynamic and all those things. I'm just saying, I think if I had to bet money on anybody that is ready to rise to the occasion and is ready to really go out there and earn their spot, and even if that spot is third strings to start, I think somebody like Wilkerson is okay with that. And I personally think you need people like Wilkerson to be okay with that, to really come in and work hard and really come in and take somebody's spot. That is what this is all about. You wanting to take somebody's spot. Only 11 guys play on offense, only 11 guys play on defense, only 11 guys play on special teams. You have to come in and earn your spot. You have to come in and take it from somebody. And I think that Wilkerson can do that because he's had the background of doing that. And so just to recap my crazy thoughts or opinions or whatever before spring ball starts, I think that linebacker group has to improve, and I think they're going to improve, and I think Coach Hart is going to lead them to improving that, period. I'll leave it at that. I think that Sylvan Craig, Wilkerson, and Jimmy Horn are going to be the three guys that I'm going to be paying attention to, because here's the thing I know about good teams. On a good team, there's always people that you don't think about and that you don't realize and that you almost have written off that usually step in and rise to the occasion. It's usually the person that you're like, yeah, they just don't have it. They're a step slow or whatever. Those are usually the people that honestly light fires under themselves based on what people are saying, and they come in and make the difference. And Colorado needs those people to come in and make the difference. If you study anything about teams, if you study anything about progressions and getting better and overcoming and things like that, it's always the guys that everybody has written off. It's quite frankly, CU has almost recruited over those guys. They've seen that that's the bar, and so they've tried to recruit guys that they think are better than them. That's what you're supposed to do. That's not a knock. That's just what you're supposed to do. And I think those guys are ready to show who they are and who they're supposed to be, and I think they're ready to earn the spots on their teams. And here's the thing, if I'm right and those guys elevate their play and those guys make it really hard for the guys that they recruited to come in and take their spots, it only makes Colorado better. And that's what we all want. We want them to be better. And so I'm going to be cheering for these three, and I'm going to be cheering for Coach Hart, and I'm going to hope that they make the improvement that's needed, because you can't go from 4-8 to be better if people aren't improving and if your groups aren't improving. Offensive line, we all know if they don't improve, then none of this matters. But I believe they're going to improve, but I'm really just focused on the three guys that I think will make an impact, because something in me feels like some of them might be a culture carrier, or they might just be people. Like, I think them, there's always people on the team that, like, when they do well, everybody else around them gets really excited because they did something good. I feel like these guys could also be those guys. And so if they are the guy that everybody wants to see be successful, and they are the guy that the team can rally around and that really, jumpstarts the team to be better, why, we want them to be better. And so anyways, just wanted to give my thoughts going into spring ball before they put the pads on, before they get started, of what I'm looking forward to. And some of you might love this, some of you might hate it, but I'm rolling with the underdogs. I like a good underdog story. I like a good, nobody thought we could do this. Everybody thought we should enter the transfer portal. Nobody thought we could play. I like that. I like that story. I like that line. And I hope that these three gentlemen figure out a way to get on that football field and to make a positive impact on the Colorado Buffaloes this season. What can I say? I hope that they do well.